Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Dawn of Man. I wanted to clarify a few things. In my last video there, I'd got the timelines all backwards and mixed up and whatnot. I beg your forgiveness. I had already had an 11-hour day of playing this game because that's how into it I am. But yeah, it was literally 2:30 in the morning my time when I was making the video and doing the commentary on it, and I was just jelly brained. So yeah, I'd just like to clarify a couple of things, and if you'll bear with me, I'll bring up the grid here. I had got the timelines wrong, but in here, this of course is my stats for my supplements right now. We're running about 84%, which for me is pretty good. I go anywhere from 90 down to 60 back and forth right now. But that gives you an idea. This is your prestige, you know, how well you're known per se, and whether people want to, you know, join your tribe, if you will. And then, of course, I'm not even recording here, am I? Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. It's now it's now 7:15 in the morning for me. I've had like about 3 hours sleep, and I'm back at it here. So yeah, total population 38. You know, we got 8 male, 3 female children. We've got, oh my gosh, there we go, male adults and female adults, one of which is pregnant. So cool beans there. And this gives you your livestock, of course, 27 overall, and out of those, 12 are converted wolves over to domestic dogs. And we have 3 goats, and we've got 10 sheep right now, and 2 pigs. I haven't as yet got into the metal age, so I don't have, of course, horses or donkey or cattle just yet. And this is my sledges. I have 8. I haven't invented the wheel, so I don't have a cart or anything like that yet. But anyway, what I really wanted to show you was through the text. And yesterday I had said we were in the Paleolithic age and whatnot, but I got it all backwards. I can hear my anthropology professor just cringing right now. I was a student of anthropology for a couple of years and whatnot. But yeah, so the game in and of itself starts off in the Paleolithic, then the Mesolithic, and then the Neolithic. Now, yesterday I had said we were in the Paleolithic stage, and of course we're not. We're in the Neolithic stage. At the beginning of the game in the Paleolithic, this is the first things you learn, right? You know, so you start to work with bone, and you then, pardon me, I have no control over my controllers today. My PS4 controller is, like me, very, very old and well used. So yeah, after you learn how to do your composite tools and what have you, you know, then you can learn how to make slings for hunting and whatnot. And you need those, of course, to advance forward to learn archery down the road. And how to dry your food, which is great, rather than leaving slabs of meat on a rock. You know, having it this way, you got racks to dry it on and like that, and you know, storage bins. And then of course you learn how to domesticate dogs. As we said, you know, young wolves, you can tame them and they become dogs. And then once you've got that down, you can then learn how to, oh my gosh, apologies people, apologies. You can then learn how to train dogs, and with that the dogs will look after your village with you. They will hunt with you and whatnot. So very, very helpful that way. Also, as it says here, it's required for your animal domestication, like your goats and what have you down the road. Then, of course, you also, at the beginning, learn how to tan leather. And this is also now where the stage for your spirituality, your funeral rites and whatnot, you know, when people started burying their dead and paying homage to them by erecting totems and poles and what have you that way. So yeah, quite interesting through there. And then once you get that and you've kind of moved on at this point, I mean, you're living in simple little wooden huts, little dome frames with raw skins thrown over them, you know, that type of thing. And we're walking around in, you know, raw leather outfits and what have you until we learn how to tan, right? Then into the Mesolithic here. So This is where we learn, like it says, your bone polishing. Okay, so with that you get your knives, your sickles and stuff. So at this point, you're kind of going from hunter-gatherer, and you're starting to become a little more agrarial. You know, you're learning how to plant and whatnot at this stage. So you discover this, and then of course you got your pottery, very basic pottery, but you learn to make containers to hold your water, to hold the milk from the goats and such. Then, you know, of course, archery, because you've already learned slings. But with the archery, more importantly, becomes fortification. So you get this as required. That way, in the next stage, in the Neolithic era, you know, you can start building palisades and the like. Okay, and then you get your grain processing, so you can make haystacks. You can make a mortar to grind it up and make your breads, you know. Pulse processing, pulse being your legumes, chickpeas and the like, right? You now also sledge making, so instead of walking around with one log over your shoulder, you can now pull a dozen logs on a sledge, right? Obviously, you know, more industrious, right? And then again, spirituality at this point now, you know, we're starting to believe in a higher power, if you will, the strangeness, start to worship nature. You know, we don't necessarily understand it at this point, but we do realize that there's something greater than ourselves out there. Okay, and of course here, this is your pulse processing with your various beans and like that, right? And then we move up to where I am now, which is the Neolithic, not the Paleolithic. And again, apologies, I was very, very tired when I was doing the audio for this. But with this, you then learn underground mining. And if you remember yesterday, I was showing you the flint deposits on the ground, which you can randomly pick up, to where the flint was growing on the side of the mountains here and whatnot, and how you could dig into the mountain now with the underground mining, which, you know, nets you a lot more, obviously, and whatnot. And of course, it's required for when I do get into the copper age, you know, so I can mine the tin, the copper, the iron, and do deep down mining, you know, progressing even further into the earth. And also at that point, you know, we'll be able to get like furnaces and smelters, all the necessary things for making our metals. Here we go. And then thatching, so you learn that for, instead of living in, you know, raw skin tents and then tan leather tents, we'll now be able to build huts like I have in my village now, right? And the all important well digging, which now, if you can dig your well, then you can keep you can keep your animals throughout the winter and learn more about animal husbandry. But without the well, you can't keep animals in the winter, as I said in my last video, because of course they will dehydrate and die because they are locked up in a stable over the winter. So obviously they can't get out to a water source, so you do have to feed and water them. And then fortification, because we do have raiders in this game. They are a reality, so these help a bit. Now, that being said, you can put up your palisades, but the raiders can also destroy them with their slings and bows and arrows and what have you. They progress along through the timelines just like you do. So as you have better protection, they of course have better weapons. They go from throwing rocks in slings, as we did, up to when I have archery, of course they have archery, and so on, right? Makes sense, right? And then we got our cereal domestication here, so we grow our wheats, our barley, our encon, our emmer, and corn. Sorry, I am just stumbling today. And then with your legumes here, your pulse cereals, whatever. So you got your flax. Now flax is important because once we learn how to grow flax, we can also learn how to make linen and line and, you know, cordage and what have you out of the flax. Very important, obviously. Yeah, so now with your pulse, these are your winter crops. These are your summer crops, all your cereals and grains. These ones you grow in the winter time. So you get a balance so that you're not doing everything all in the spring and whatnot. It rotates the crops, if you will, right? So here we've learned flax domestication at this point, and with that it's necessary for in the Copper Age where I can actually start to domesticate trees and what have you around me, so you get your cherries, your pears and whatnot. Right now, what I'm doing is gathering off of the natural wild trees and the wild bushes for blackberries, blueberries, pears, cherry trees and the such. But you have to go to where they are. Once you domesticate them, of course, you can bring them home, and again, it makes life easier, right? And down here, of course, we have our goats, which, with learning that, you can now make your stables, so you can winter them and what have you. And your sheep, of course, for your wool, your goats for your milk, and pigs basically for the hide and the bone and the meat. And also weaving. So with the weaving, you saw in my last video, I had a weaver and an outfitter. With the weaver, of course, turning the flax and the wool into sheets and like that. And then in the outfitter shop was where you would make your wool clothing for your winter and your linen clothing for the summer. Here we have stilting, so we can make small bridges now over rivers and what have you like that. And it's also required for donkey domestication, which again, that's not till the Copper Age. And of course, megalithism, which in my last video you saw I put up a mare. Oh, pardon me. In the graveyard, for worship purposes and what have you. But yeah, so the next move will be into the metal ages here, the Copper Age, the Bronze Age, and finally, of course, the Iron Age. Now, as you can see with this, through here, I can learn how to get my charcoal pit, my pit furnace, become a metal smith, get a workshop going, do bronze smelting so that now I can have copper tools as opposed to flint or stone tools, right? We learn, as I said before, the tree domestication, and we can do cattle. Now, cattle domesticated is obviously great for meat on the hoof and milk, but also your cattle, they become beasts of burden as well. So rather than just having donkeys and whatnot to pull your plows and your carts, the cattle can do that also. So looking forward to learning that, and then of course from the Copper Age over into the Bronze, and finally into the Iron Age. But as I said, we are now in the Neolithic, not the Paleolithic, as I said yesterday. So again, apologies for that. But so here we'll go up top, and we've got your settlement info, as we've already looked at. Okay, then our text. Now you'll notice that just under text, you'll see that circle lit up with an 84. Those are my knowledge points. Now you get knowledge points with all of these as you learn various things. You get knowledge points as you pass milestones and whatnot. You get knowledge points. Milestones being, say, the first 1,000 hides that you've tanned, or the first 1,000 or 100 barley that you've grown. Fishing, stuff that you learn, you get points for, and with those points you apply them towards your knowledge. So moving into the Copper Age, as it were, you need 20 points to unlock the Copper Age. I have 84, so I could jump right into that. The reason I haven't yet is when you hit the Iron Age, the Metal Age, and whatnot, things change dramatically and exponentially. Your raiders, instead of coming in, groups of 15 or 20 at a time, apparently they come just in hordes. So there's even a little warning sign that says, here, I'll show you, right here, you are about to enter the Metal Age. It is highly recommended that you fortify your settlement and have enough people and weapons to defend from raiders. Are you sure you want to proceed? Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I think we need to get some more walls up, and maybe once we get to 100 villagers, maybe something like that. I'm sitting somewhere around 40 right now, if I remember right. But yeah, so there's your text, of course, milestones that you've passed. You've accumulated 3 units of raw meat, you get points, right? You survive 2 years, you get points. As I was saying, that all goes towards your knowledge. Now, management. In here, you got your limits. You've got your defenses. So if you look, your men and your women, you can set how many you want. 90, 80% of the men to show up to defend. You could have, downwards of, say 50 of your women. I tend to go with 100 and 100. I go all in on that. I figure, you know, many hands make light work, right? Okay, so then your whoops, sorry about that. Wrong button. Activities. So then here it shows your villagers and what they are up to, right? So Ken's going to gather straw. Margor is going to the woodpile. Subsiding, this is, they're not working. What they're doing is they're either working on their morale or they're sleeping. Well, this one, of course, is moved on, met their demise through either infection or old age, or as you saw in my last video, you get cave lions, hyenas, wolves, and they will attack you. They're opportunistic predators, so that's the way it is. But yeah, so morale, so, you can see that over here, praying, see the sad face up above them, so their morale is low. Now if you look to the left, Amel's chart, you can see that her health is full, that she's kind of hungry a little bit, she's hydrated pretty good, her temperature is fine, her stamina, the sign with the little human sign there and whatnot, so her stamina is full. Next to that, with the Z's, of course, that's how tired you are. And then, of course, at the end here is morale with the very sad face. So as she prays and whatnot, that will bring her morale up and will make her, happier overall, per se. Right? So anyway, that gives you an idea of what's going on in there. You can also see what is going on, and you can manage your tasks. Now at the top, these are the tasks that are being performed at the moment. Down here are the tasks pending, coming up. Now you'll notice that there's a lot of planting going on. At this stage I am starting to develop my fields and whatnot, so it gets busy in the spring, it gets busy in the fall for obvious reasons, planting and harvesting. But also you can see, shearing going on, extracting mud from the lakes. Here we are, preparing the grain and turning it into flour, taking that flour, turning it into bread, such like that. I discussed yesterday about work areas, and I'll just show you here. These are the flags that you saw. These are the automated areas, so collecting and harvesting plants, gathering sticks, gathering stone, cutting down trees, collecting the tannin. Now tannin you get from your oak trees, and of course tannin is necessary for tanning leather, right? So that's automated. And then of course gathering mud. Now I'll show you what I mean about these here. We'll just go have, my apologies, we'll just go have a look on this one. So this one, now they're gathering and harvesting wild plants. So you can see in here, you've got your blueberries and whatnot, you've got your fruit trees and what have you. There again we have another fruit tree. In here we're gathering sticks. Okay, this one we're gathering stone. On here is gathering sticks, as I said earlier. Sorry, the other one was gathering fruit. Here we are extracting mud. Now I can also set these up to automate for my fishing as well, right? So there we go. We're, pardon me, getting pears off the pear tree here. And just cut down trees here, which as you can see, we have already done, because there is nary a tree in sight. Yeah, go clear cutting, boys. But anyway, yeah. So megaliths, we put up the two in the graveyard in the funerary here. We did that yesterday, and like I say, the beginning of spiritualities and religions, if you will. So yeah, So moving on from that, we have your help. So in here you go into your various aspects. What do I do about farming? What do I do about domesticating animals? How are what are my human roles? What are my workloads? Defense, work areas, all that kind of stuff. And then here's your settlement info. You've got your resources. Okay, and goes through, tells you, of course, everything you got for food, for drinking, your materials, what tools you have, and how many. There's my charts on. Oops, sorry. There's some food. We got, my straw, humans, my animals, and my workloads, which you can see it spikes in the spring, and then starts off in the winter here. You're kind of cool and groovy, and the workload's kind of nice and low, not too many people working. Then it'll come spring, it'll spike way up, and then summertime is down, and then you see another spike. That's in the fall, and then through the fall you'll see it kind of settles down a little bit throughout the winter, and then again coming into spring till finally at the end of the graph it wash, rinse, repeat, right? Okay, domestic animals. So again, I've got 12 dogs, 3 sheep, or 3 goats, 10 sheep, and 2 pigs at the moment. You can see a total of 27 animals, 15 of which need shelter, which would be the goats, the sheep, the pigs. Dogs don't need shelter. Dogs are great. They are totally self-sufficient. You don't have to look after them at all. Here's your knowledge chart, so what you've gained, what you've understood, like that, so total population, raiders that we've killed under the attacks, and domesticated animals that we've had. So animals hunted, structures built, and resources acquired. And then here we have all of our structures, how many residents, how many storage sheds, our production facilities, defensive, which is your palisades and your wooden platforms and like that. Spirituality, which, how many are skulls. You see here. Yeah. Whoopsies, we'll go back there. And funerary, your burial mounds and whatnot. So, yeah, in a nutshell, that's pretty much what that's all about. So we'll come out of that. If you look up into your top right, that gives you a quick overview of everything you have. Top left, of course, gives you an overview of your population. 38 out of 40 people right now. As I say, I'd like to get up to around 100 before I move on to the next stage. You can see they're starting to plant. It's about halfway through the spring right now, and you'll notice the workload is in the red at 163%. That's because not only are they planting, but we have people, working in our various structures and whatnot. Crafting is going on, weaving is going on, and whatnot. Also, you see it's telling me my workload is too high, which obviously we know. So it's a combination of everything that's going on. The shearing, the butchering, the fishing, the mud extraction, the working, making bread here. You see what he's doing? He's got the mortar going, so he's going to turn the grains, and he's working on that, and he will turn that into flour. And then, of course, the flour they will take and put that into the hearth and bake that up and turn it into bread, right? So we just kind of speed that along a little bit, and you'll see it'll change over from grains the way it looks right now. And there we go. Now, if we stop that, we'll catch up to him. So you can see now he's got flour, and he is going to go for a drink, and then he's going to probably put that away in the storage, right? So we'll get that going again. Okay, so as the seasons progress, of course, once we get our fields planted, the workload will drop down. So you can see there starting to drop now down to 145% if you look up in the top left graph. Next to the percentage sign, you see a little flower. That tells us that we're in spring. And of course the bar beside it, as it fills The fuller it is, the further into the season you are. Yep. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's about it. As I said, we kind of covered all the other stuff yesterday there, or a good portion of it. So yeah, here's the trees I'm talking about. So you got your cherry trees here. Over here we have a pear tree, I believe. Yeah, and then over in here we've got blackberries going on there. Over in here we have your raspberries. Wild grains too. This is before you can plant fields. You stumble upon these and you can harvest them. And this, of course, is how we learn about agriculture in the beginning times, right? My chickpeas are growing along quite nicely. Over here we got our lentils. One thing I will mention is with your crops, you'll notice that we've got barley and we've got flax. Okay, so I don't have two barleys together because of blight and disease. It will travel just rampant exponentially through a crop. Yeah, and we've got over here, so barley, and then okay. So over here you got your corn, then your barley, then your emmer, and then barley. Now I grow a lot of barley, and the reason for that is it's a good grain, it is disease resistant, but also I get more straw out of barley than I do out of, say, the emmer or the einkorn, right? So of course we want the straw not only for thatching but also to feed our animals and what have you. And I've converted over from the leather domed huts or tents rather, into huts at this point. Huts will hold 4 people and have, more storage spots in them. The tents hold 3 people and obviously, less spots for storage, right? So yeah, we're moving along pretty good. Our drying racks for our food, drying racks for our skins, our rock piles. So when you mine rocks, say here, okay, your rock piles, when you mine those, this gives you a place to store them, right? And I like to have them inside the village as much as possible for easy access so that we can utilize them. Here is flint, and here we have rock and flint as well. Now these are our wood piles, which will hold our logs and our sticks. I have one over here because we need those for fuel for the hearths, right? And your hearth, of course, warmth, and also for making your breads. And so you'll see the villagers come over here and they'll light a fire and they'll sit down and they'll eat and perform various tasks. Oh, there you go. Good timing. So here we go. So you look at Buddy here and click on it. It says crafting bread. You see? So there we are. And much like the grinding off, which this one's doing, quite industrious day today. I'm liking it. It's good timing on showing you what's going on. There we go. Gathering of the dry skins, putting those into storage, and then once they get a moment, here's where we tan the hides, turn them into leather rather than just dried skins, which, advancements, right? Yesterday I ran out of storage room, so I've had to take a piece of my fence out. Oh, a new human was born. Right, let's see. Oh, there we go. A boy, Tarab. Okay. So back to what I was saying is I had run out of storage room. My slots were all full. Okay. And we don't want things to go to waste because, you spend a lot of labor and time getting them, right? So I had to build new storage spots, and I thought, well, while I'm at it, I will build a new couple of granaries as well, because we are growing after all, and the larger the village, the more food stores and stuff that we will need. So you can see they've been building here. He's just finishing off the granary, now putting stuff in it. So we got some bread in that one. This one we got flour in this one. And storage units, we got some bone and hide in there. And in here we got mud, we got well, let's just click on it. We'll show you here. So we go up top. It's got some mud in here. We've got water in here, straw. We got some wool. We got more straw. You know, got a few axes in here. You know, more water, that kind of thing. So that's what goes on in those ones there. But yeah, I'd run out of spaces yesterday, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So figured, well, I'm going to knock out a piece of the wall and expand, because, you know, that's what humans do, right? We expand and move on, take over, expand, move on, expand, take over. And hence we have now populated the planet to the point where we're more trouble than we're worth. There we go. We got some reindeer booting along there, doing their thing. And there we are. The old aurochs, you know, primitive oxen, you know, before domestication, right? Malflawn. Like them, you can convert them into sheep. The ibex, of course, you can convert into goats, as I said yesterday. But yeah, oh, what do we got here? Is that a wild horse? Yeah, we got a wild horse. Zoom in for a closer look there. There you go. There's your wild horse. Now, once I move into the Iron Age, I'll be able to domesticate them. I'm looking forward to that, but I'm just not quite ready. So what do we got here? Oh, cave lion attack. Dang nabbit. Oh, he killed one of my dogs. Dang it. Yeah, we'll butcher that up, and we'll tag the dog for butchering too, I guess. Oh, no, it's gone because he ate it now. If I stop the animation here, I'll tag this one up, and you can see the cross arrows there. So we're going to hunt that one. Is there any other ones in here? No. So we'll restart the animation. Oh, here we go again. Yeah, you see they're coming in. So I'm going to select all and put them to hunt. Now when they come in here, I'll be able to sound the alarm. And, pardon me. There we go. Okay, so we got the one. And of course, notice how with the alarm, they all automatically go to their defensive positions. And then once I give the all clear, now they'll go back to business as usual again. Dang it, how many dogs is that now? Let's see. Domestic animals. I'm down to 11 dogs. Wouldn't mind having a few more. They are good for defense. Oh, and you can see in the greenery here, you see above it, they got the hammer and the axe, which means it needs repairs. Oh, okay, so disease, my chickpeas have disease. Oh, a new human was born and 2 new sheep were born. There you go. But, yeah, so if you look at the bottom left in the greenery sign, you'll see underneath it all says needed repair materials, 1 log. So then you look up into the top right, and on the left side, second line down, you'll see I have 3 logs. So I do have materials available. And once the workload is down to such that they got some spare time, they will automatically come over and repair these. The little fence here, this is, pardon me, a transport post. This is where they're supposed to put the sleds when they're done with them. It's just a place to store them so that they're not left all willy-nilly over on top of a hill somewhere, or, you know, out in the forest somewhere left behind. So this way they, you know, a place for everything and everything in this place. So you'll notice this guy here, of course, he's going along, and he's got lumber, so he will put the lumber in with the sticks. He'll put the logs in there. And we got the little girl coming back here. We'll highlight her. Just stop the animation momentarily. So she's got strawberries with her, and she's going to go get a linen outfit. Apparently she wants to change her clothes. So yeah. This one's going to go get a linen outfit as well. But in her hand there, you can see she's got berries and whatnot that she's gathered. Strawberries, if you look at the graph beside her clothing, you'll see a picture of a strawberry in the bottom left corner there. Second line in. So yeah, she'll take those and put them into storage as is necessary. Okay, restart the game. There we are. Get everybody doing their thing. So yeah, that's kind of sort of what we're about. There's my flax. Again, flax being important for making cordage, making linen and what have you. But yeah, crops are growing quite nicely. Cave lion attack. Okay, here we go. So, well, they've fended them off. Oh, I see. Those are the ones I marked for hunting. And what do we have down here? Young cave lion is dead. And these are my dogs. They've killed it. So the hunter's gone out with the dogs and he's hunting down the cave lions, and that's what that was all about. A little wild boar over there. Oh, more jumpajigis, little horsies. So that's kind of sort of where we're at. Here's an outcropping, more stones and whatnot. Oh, I was going to show you, if we look around the mountains, we will find various deposits now. There we go, there's one. So that's tin. So once I move into the Metal Ages, I'll be able to build a mine and I'll be able to extract the ore and whatnot. Oh, the trader has come. Let's go see what the trader's got. So we'll just stop the animation in the game here and have a little look-see. So he's got 2 pigs. Now, I've already got, if you notice my chart at the top left, I have 2 pigs. On my limits for my pigs are 10. Anything over that, they will butcher. My sheep, I have 12 right now, which is way more than what my limits are. My limit for my sheep I have set at 5. So again, once the workload drops down to a reasonable level, they will automatically, we'll go into the graph and show you here. So we got 12 sheep, 9 of which are female, 2 young, 7 adults, and we've got 3 males, all adults. Now they'll call that herd. They will butcher the sheep up because my limits, I'll just go into management here if you'll bear with me, and we'll go into limits. Now if you look at the very bottom down here, I have my goats at 5, my sheep, I have at 10, not my pigs, it was my sheep I have at 10 because of the wool. The more wool we got, the more clothing we can make, right? And then our pigs and everything else is all set at 5. So once we get more than 5, they will butcher the excess stock off, and that will become, we'll take that in for our meat, and we'll get our bone out of that, and also our hides, right? So yeah, that's what's going on there. As I was saying with the crops, so we've got our flax, gives us our linen and what have you. Here is our cereal grains and what have you there. And here is our pulse crops, so we'll harvest these up. They're planted in the winter and harvested in the summer. These, of course, are planted in the spring and harvested in the fall, right? Okay, well, I don't know what else I can tell you just right now. We're just going to kind of get business as usual and move along, do some expanding, and doing the grind, as it were, right? So, interesting times. Now, first, I was going to go and see the traders in town, right? So we'll go into the trader. There we are. Now, do I need the pigs? Not really, but I can take the pigs and I can either keep them in the stables if I have room, which I do, or I can set them up to butcher them right away. But you'll notice I've got pretty good stock on meat. I have an overabundance here, so I mean I can trade my cured meat. My cured fish is down. Got to go do some fishing. So what does the trader have for me? They got some flour. Now, flour is a pretty good thing to have, and if I can trade for it, then it's less work for me, right? So we'll take some of the flour. Now, I don't need bread. Obviously, I've got a lot. In fact, I might pay for my flour with my bread. There we go. Nice little trade-off. Okay, what else we got going here? Oh, tannin. Now, tannin we need for our leather, so I will take the tannin. They got some straw. Never have enough straw. Okay, linen cloth. I don't need the cloth. I'm making my own wooden spears, of course. I'm making all of my own. Bone knives. We'll take 2 of those. You bet. That's important stuff. And what do we got down here? Slings I don't need. Bows and outfits I don't need. I'm doing good. So other than the pigs, which I don't really need right now for butchering, that's pretty much everything I got, or everything I want rather. Now the trader is trading it. If you look at the top left of the screen under their name, the commission is high. So it's not really a great time to do bartering. But then, that being said, I'm not really buying a lot of stuff. You know, if I was to do the pig, that would cost me a bunch. You see, we're going from 38 to 98 right away, right? So, huge jump of 60 there. Whereas if I wait until the commission is low, give an opportunity, then I'm obviously going to get a better deal, right? Buy low, sell high, yeah? But so yeah, what I've got to do now is match that trader's price at the bottom of the grid. It says 38. So what I will do is I will, what do I have a good abundance of? Well, I have bows, so slings aren't really necessary to me right now. So 9, 14, there we go. You see the jumping up. Oh, so there's 39. So what I'll do is I'll drop down to 34. And then I'll zoom up here and give them something that, you know, one at a time. Now I've got 3 spears, and I've got harpoon. So harpoon, there we go, 38 and 39. Okay, now you notice at the bottom, see the confirmed trade. Okay, now it's gone dark there. Now it's good, right? So 38, 38, good to go. Trade's done. Okay, and there's all the supplies on the ground of what I've just bought. Okay, now we'll reanimate the game. Move it on there. Okay, nobody's working in here. Nobody's in the outfitter. And there we go. Put the supplies into the crafter. As I said, the crafter, if you look, you know, you can see everything I'm making over there. Stuff that's got the animated squares is what we're working on. I'm not doing a lot of bone at the moment because I was trying to save my bone for, pardon me, for making the totems and what have you. You know, if I go into my, oh sorry, wrong button, going into my builds here, if I go down to spirituality, and you bring up skin poles, so you need 1 twig, 1 bone, and 1 hide. Totems, I'm going to need 4 twigs, 4 bone, 2 hides, and a log, right? So I was saving the bones yesterday because I want to get more totems and skull poles going, because the more you have, the better it is for your morale, you know. Almost 1 per person, which, I mean, it's a lot, but, you know, necessary functions of the game, right? So here we go. We have Amin, and again, her morale is way low. If you look on her graph, the little smiley face isn't smiling, right? Okay, and then over here, this one here, ML. Let's stop the game for a second. There we are. You can see with her, she's got the Z above her. Well, she's really, really tired, right? This time of year, summer, workload's pretty heavy right now. It's up at 126%. You want to try and keep your workload around 100%, in or around there. So say 90 to 110. That seems to be fairly good. As long as the graph to the left of the 126 isn't red, you're doing okay. But as I say, you know, you want to get it around 100 and keep it there as best you can. So you notice now we've got the sickle, so it's time to harvest the lentils. As I say, these were our winter crops, so now it's summertime, so of course we're harvesting them. I'll just speed things up a little bit for you so you can see that kind of happening. There you go, and we were talking about the automated thing, so she's in here harvesting, gathering sticks. Yeah, there we are, harvesting of the crops. Well, one of the sheeps were slaughtered, because there's more than 10, so that will go into our meat, and we will get skin and bone and like that from it also. Pull this back a bit, give you a little better idea of what's going on. Just busy little bees, eh? Busy, busy, busy. So, okay, slow this back down to an easier pace. And I think probably going to leave it here for today, guys, for the now. And I'm going to get to work doing the grind, which, I mean, it's all fairly industrious, boring stuff, and I'm sure you don't want to spend a lot of time watching me build fences and, you know, plow fields and what have you. But, yeah, in a nutshell, that's what we got going on. But I did want to clarify my mistakes yesterday in my technician, because I had said, you know, Paleolithic and what, and we're in the Neolithic time, and getting ready to move into the Iron Age. So once I make the jump into the Copper Age, I will come back and make a video for you, and we can see the difference between that and the Neolithic. As I say, once I get my village up to probably, I think, around 100 people, and I want to get more defenses going up. With the palisades, and here I'll show you too in here in my build mode under defense. So you can see we got the palisades, we got a gates that we can build. You can when you put the gates up, they become a focal point. If we're having an attack, that's a gathering spot at the gates, but you can automate them, you can open them, close them. Oh, pardon me. Wooden platforms, that's, what do we got? Oh, 500 cloth and 500 pulses. So again, we get knowledge points. Remember at the top of the graph there, it was 80. You'll notice now it's 86. So getting there. But yeah, the wooden platforms and watchtowers. Now, if I wanted to say build a watchtower, I could put a watchtower here. You know, so we'll get a few of those going. Now's a good time, actually. My workload is at 67%, so we'll build one of those. 4 logs, 8 twigs, 2 straw, and 2 tan leather. So we'll get that one going in there for the now. I prefer the wooden platforms. Let me just show you what I'm talking about here. These here, the wooden platforms, I much prefer them. You can get, you know, a couple of 3 people to each platform, and they can fire out onto the enemy. So we have them, you know, spread all around the inside of the wall, so no matter which direction the enemy's coming from, I've got somebody that can fire in that direction, and the palisades will give them some protection from that, right? Whereas, pardon me, the watchtowers, they will have 2 people in there. When the enemies come, 2 people will automatically go up in the watchtowers. But I find the raiders can stand just kind of out of range and fire in and take them out within a matter of 4 or 5 shots. Whereas on the wooden platforms, they seem to last a lot longer. Now, because I've extended out this way, I'm going to have to build some more platforms from here and put them along this wall once it's done. Like that. So, interesting times. Okay, well, it's a beautiful, glorious summer day. We're just about through summer now, and we're going to be heading into fall, as you can see. And with that, of course, it's going to be harvest time. So, busy, busy, busy. But yeah, for the now, I'm going to speed this up and get us into fall here. You'll notice that in the graph, there we go. So it went from a sun and now there's a leaf up in the top left there. So now it's slaughter time. You know, we're going to cull the animals. We're going to harvest our fields. So you'll notice my workload now is shot right up to 140, now 133. Slow this down a bit, get back to normal. So yeah, busy times. But all right, my friends, I think for now we're going to leave you here, and I'm going to get on and get some work done, and I will bring you back when we've got more to report. Oh yeah, it's telling me at the bottom right there, so, you know, my workload is too high, because if you look, it's in the red. It's 100, well, it was 156. Now it's dropped down. See, 162, and that's because of all the goings on. While people are harvesting here, they're also, you know, out gathering sticks, harvesting the. Here you can see he's getting the wild barley and whatnot. So you know, all of the animate or automated work areas that I had. You know. So it's a culmination of everything all at once. And if you get too much going on, as I said in my last video, their morale drops down and they get sick, and then of course they die. And we don't want that. We don't like that at all. No, not at all, he says. But anyway, guys, okay, lovely fall day. Good day to get something done here on the farm. And I'll leave you there for now. Okay, so in the meantime and in between time, be good to each other, yeah? Okay, bye for now.